Oh, nah. Oh, nah. What's happening, family? What's happening? Y'all come on in the room. Come on in the room. We're going to get this thing started. Hey, y'all come on in here, man. I got a lot of information to give you and a short time to get it to you in. I'm not going to be long, like the preacher says, but I must be strong. So y'all come on in the room today, family. We're going to be talking about the benefits of why you want to LLC your name. Now, new merch is already out. If you want to kill courage, just be mediocre. Be like everybody else and be mediocre. So here we go, family. We're going to take off. Now, I want you to grab your pen and paper because I'm going to be giving you a lot of information today on why you want to LLC your name. This is what I like already. Comments right off the break. Hey, how you doing, Miss Toes? Hey, hailing all the way from hot Atlanta, the A, thank you for tuning in. But we're going to be dropping in science today on the importance of why you should be LLC in your name. Now, I have this actually started out as just something that I was just dropping information on and just telling people about doing it. Then it turned into a whole complete course on its own. So this kind of took off a mind on its own on why people should LLC or even starting your LLC, getting your LLC started, LLC in your name, the benefits of it. And that's what we're going to cover today. So I'm going to drop this information and this science on y'all to give y'all a better insight on how we do this and how it can be beneficial to not just you, but your family as well. So first off, I'm not one to hate the game. I respect the game. I respect it so much. So regardless, I don't want anybody who's watching this, another social media marketing influencer or anybody thinking that I'm just out here dumping onto your business strategy, because we all do the same thing. We all do the same thing. We put these videos and this content out here for people as appetizers. And we invite you to come back in and see the masterclass or the course. The overwhelming problem is that people want to know the information and they're not prepared to move forward with it. So, and what that simply means is, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter what social media influencer you come across or whatever marketer you come across, there is a price that's going to be dropped at the end of that masterclass to tell you, if you want this game for real, and you want to change your life, you want to change your condition from where you are now to the better, there is a ticket that's going to be attached to that. Now, the rapper Snoop Dogg said the game is to be sold and not told. You guys have heard me say that on multiple other podcasts that I've done. And the reason why we do that, ladies and gentlemen, is if I give you the game for free, one, you have nothing invested into that particular moment. So what people tend to do at that point, they treat their business like the side chick. You're going to half do it. I'll see you when I see you. Or if I come through, I come through. If I don't come through, you can't have nothing to say. So, and they treat their business with that same type of mentality. Now, problem one, and that's probably because of a lot of influencers started that out, and that transcended over from the IBO, the BLM market. Because the BLM model says you can work this as an independent business owner, as an IBO, you can work it part-time. Now, what that does, that puts in motion that the individual person can only put in half the amount of work. Now, if you're dedicated on your job doing 8 hours, 10 hours, some jobs even 12 hours, and then you have this business model that comes through and say, well, you can put half of that time into your business, then that only means you're going to put half the effort and half the work into it. Now, what people do is, if they're only putting half the time and half the effort into it, they're still relying on their job to take care of their livelihood. Now, this is what I teach in my course. Your first thing that you want, your first goal should be not just to get the LLC, not just the LLC Your Name, and not just to have a business. A business is what you do. Your company in your name is the brand. That's what's going to change your future. You got to have a brand. You got to have the everything is have to be structured, so you don't have to do it. So your first goal, what I teach my clients, your first goal is to match your income. If this is your job here, your first goal is to match your business to the income that you are making. Now you can start the process of thinking, I want to eventually leave that job and then do my business full time. So what I tell my clients, match that same energy. If you put in 10, look at it this way. And I heard Brother Ben X say this one time on one of his podcasts and in his course. He was working at FedEx. And he was going in to FedEx and he was giving them 100%. And he said, man, he said, well, I'm going to go in tomorrow. If I can make this and giving them 100% worth of work, then I'm going to go in next week and I'm going to give them 1,000%. But the realization that when that reality check got wrote, you can put 100% in, you can put 1,000% in. It's some people on your job that only putting in 50% and they making the same thing you making. So what we do is when you start your own business, when you put your own company into the works, if you put 1,000% into your own business, that money that you are going to be making on 100%, 1,000% effort is going to eventually surpass your job. This is what we want people to get into the mentality of. Now, let me back that up, roll that back. When you treat your business as a side hustle, and you hear that all over social media today, you know, my side hustle. If you want to know what my number one side hustle is, that means they have a main that's keeping them as a side hustle. Now, your side hustle is not the main. But if you don't have a plan to eventually subside that side hustle, then you're always going to treat it that way. So, and then what I was alluding to earlier was that this is why we charge to do it. Because if you put half the amount of work in, then what, and this has happened throughout the whole entire 8 years that I've been doing this, people will say, that don't work. That don't work. Man, I did that Muhammad was talking about, man, and that don't work. And then when you go back and follow up and say, you do the checklist, did you do A, B, C, D, and E? Nah, man, they have time to do all that. Well, that's why it didn't work. It didn't work, not because that the system or the program was wrong. You tried to skip over some stuff because of procrastination or laziness. Now, it's like when you're running a race. When you get behind, if any of you ever ran track and field, or if you ever saw track and field on TV or whatever the case may be, when that person gets behind the pack, now you have to exert more energy to try to catch up just to the pack. You still haven't won. You're just trying to catch up because you had that thing is, well, the mentality was, I just want to finish the race. No, ladies and gentlemen, we got to come out of this. We got to come out of this old teaching under the old paradigm. The race is not to the swift. Lie. Lie. Because if you don't get to the finish line first, what's what that means? You lost. It's to the one that endured to the end. Just finish the race. No, well, listen, you don't get no participation trophies in this world called business. You don't get an honorable mention just because you have a business. If your business is not making money, if your business is not changing the conditions and the livelihood of your family, you don't get an honorable mention for that. People who are remembered are ones who change the course of their family's dynamics. That's how you be remembered. Hence, this is why I wore a shirt today. See, it takes courage, ladies and gentlemen, to step out there on real faith. Real faith is courage. And I get it. There are a lot of people in this world. They are meant to be just employees. Everybody's not meant to be a boss. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Some people in this world, they just want to go through life and die safely. That's all they want to do. They're not going to leave anything to anybody. And that's cool in that realm. But if you are a person who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you want to move and change from the condition that you're in to having what we are promised. So when you really think about that, faith, and you guys already know, I don't talk race, religion, and politics, but being that race, religion, and politics is the norm of society nowadays, I give it to you in a language that you understand. How can you truly have faith if you're scared? How can you believe in anything if you have doubt? Now, the first thing is, if you don't believe in yourself, to change the condition and the dynamics of your situation, then you don't have no faith or belief in nothing. How can you believe in something outside of you if you don't believe that's what's in you? Now, let's get to the benefits of this LLC in your name. And I've been waiting to do this. I'm putting this course together to where I'm going to put all of this on. I'm going to record all of this so people can study it in their own time, in their own leisure. I'm now getting to the point to where I'm getting a lot more clients, and I'm running out of time and days to deal and to not deal with them, but to give each and every one the information that they need in order to perform it in the time frame that they need so they can see the results. Because it's hard to get all of this in a matter of 2 sessions a week over a month and a half time. There's a lot of information to cover, and I like for my clients to see the results of what they paid their money to. Now, don't get it twisted now. I'm not getting rich on $67. I'm not. When you break that down, ladies and gentlemen, I'm making less money than you. Really, $67, and you divide that by 12 hours, that tells you how much I'm making per hour, and I can guarantee you it's less than what you are making. All right? So, but the benefits to LLCing your name. Most people don't even know because we grew up in this educational system that we have, and when you look at it, our current educational system only teaches you how to be a good employee. They don't teach you how to be a boss. Even if you go off to college. Now think about this. You're going to college, let's just say, Audrey, I'm going to use you for an example since you're online. All right? You go to college to become a CPA, and you spent a lot of money on that college tuition for those 4 years to become a certified public accountant. And you're learning this from a professor who is the teacher teaching you this. But if he has all of this wealth of knowledge, why he doesn't have his own CPA firm? Huh? You got all of these people that's going to these schools and these higher educational places of learning, your Harvards, your Yales, your Princetons, your NYUs and all of this. And they're teaching these people how to be financial planners, but the professor himself don't have a business. That right there struck me as odd. Then I heard Shaq say, your education comes from not just going to school, which go to school, get a good education. I'm with that part. But where does it say in the educational system that you go to school, get a good education, and become a boss? Every job or degree that's out there is to teach you how to be a better employee. Now, let's roll this all the way back to when we first started hearing school bells in the changing of the intermission of classes, right? This is the prerequisite of getting you in the mind frame of when you're on that job. It's the same bell that rings every 2 hours for you to go on break or to change something in the structure of the course of that work day. 11 to 12, you hear that bell to take lunch. Then you hear that bell again at 3 or 4, depending on what part of the country you're in when school starts. Some schools starts at 9, some start at 8. When I was in school, we started at 8. But everything that happens through the course of that school day is training you for when you're out of school and you start working, you're still going to hear that same bell. Now, when the average person doesn't know that when you put in an application, you still got to fill out that 1099 and you still got to fill out a W-4. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've applied for a job and you fill out a W-4 or a 1099 form, you basically waiving the rights of a 1099 as a subcontractor. You're not filling out those papers. They always give you at that job that regular 1040. You fill out that 1040 and that W-4. Basically, that's telling you, okay, you're coming into this establishment as an employee. The average person doesn't even know that you can go in as a 1099 subcontractor. The average American, think about that. I'm 50 years old, and I didn't know that up until recently, that I could have been applying for these jobs or going into these jobs as a 1099 subcontracted person. And I could have been paying my own taxes. I could have been paying my own insurance. I could have been paying all of that. And I could have negotiated a higher wage on my pay. But we're not taught that part. We are only taught to be good employees. So now that's one of the benefits of when you LLC your name. Now that puts you in the driver's seat to where you can go in as a subcontractor worker. Now, most of these people that working in the HR department or the manager that's taking the application or the supervisor that's taking the application, they don't even know. So what you do is when you LLC your name and you're going in as a subcontractor worker, all you take is your resume and your skill set. And you tell them, well, where's your application? Well, I don't want to fill out an application for you guys. I want to subcontract my services to you. Now, here's how that conversation might happen. And it might transpire like this. That conversation might transpire and say, well, we don't do that here. Because they don't know that they can do that. But under the law of the United States of America, you can subcontract. Now, how do we know that to be true? I want everybody to think Uber, Lyft, Uber Eats, your Spectrum, Charter, Comcast, DirecTV, all of these people who do the installation work or the person that is delivering your food from Uber Eats or Grubhub or Instacart. All of these people are subcontracted 1099 employees. And some of them are making a lot of money. One, because they can work whenever they want to work. Some can work around the clock. Think about your Uber drivers. You got these people that's been killing the game just hanging out at the airport. If you're in a city with a major airport, they running them. He pays his own insurance. He pays his own gas. He basically takes care of himself. And his car, his vehicle is his business. That's his company. Now, here's the benefits behind that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just giving you some examples because you can also transcend. I don't care if you flipping burgers or frying chicken. You can subcontract your service as a short order cook when you LLC your own name. And then we're going to get to how you can negotiate the wage. But let me give you this. As a subcontracted Uber driver, he got paid last year. He got paid 72 cents per mile that he drove. Now, I want you to do this math real quick in your head. Do this math. You get an oil change every 3,000 miles. So we're going to say every 3 to 4 months. But just for the sake of the mathematics, we're going to say you get an oil change every 4 months. So 3 times a year, 3,000 miles, that's 12,000 miles. Now, if you got a calculator handy, or some of y'all can do this math in your head, 12,000 miles times 72 cents. That's how much he got back. Now, I teach my clients, look, don't claim the dollar amount. I don't care how much it is. You only get a percentage back of the dollar amount as opposed to claiming the 72 cents per mile. Because if you can fill your car up at $70, let's just say it's $70 to fill it up, you're only going to get a percentage of that $70. But how many miles can your vehicle go per gallon? That's how the difference in the equation and in the math. And some people want to claim the dollar amount because they can't understand that 72 cents per mile is more than $70. They looking at, well, I'm going to get back $30 or $40 in the gas. But no, you just cheated yourself out a whole bunch of money. Because if you run 100 miles and at 72 cents, you know, that's a lot, or 1,000 miles at 72 cents. Now you're getting that money back. All right. So just to give you an understanding on how we do that. Now, the benefits of putting that into the works as of a job. Let's just say you're going in and you flipping chicken at Popeyes. And Popeyes is hiring you at $14 an hour, right? They're hiring regular people at $14 an hour. All right, you're a subcontracted fry cook or short order cook. And you are now being able to go in, hey, look here, Mr. Boss Man, I'm going to pay my own insurance. I'm going to provide you my own drug screening test, which that's only $30. You know, it might be a different price because you're in a different bracket as a LLC than that particular company is. Some cases you shop around, you find the right lab. They might only charge you $15 or $25 to do your own drug testing. So you're going to provide them with the drug test. You're going to pay for your own insurance. You're going to cover all of your own workman's comp. Now that puts you in the driver's seat to say, hey, listen, I just saved you anywhere from 7 to 9%. Now, how do we know that's true? Look at your last check stub. Look at your last check stub. Now, look at how much money you paid into your insurance premium that you have through the job. Now, the company pays the remaining balance on that. So if you're taking out the family plan and your overall family coverage is $342 and you're paying $147 of that, then the company is paying the overage in the remaining balance by being an employee. Now, when you telling that particular company, I have my own insurance. Now you just saved him a lot of money. Then when you're taking and paying your own workman's comp, because every company has to have workman's comp. So if anything happened to you on the job, aside from your insurance, the workman's comp will kick in. That's just the safety net of the insurance. It's going to back up that insurance. But you as an LLC, you have your own as an employee of one. So now your workman's comp or your insurance is going to be even cheaper, possibly, depending on which insurance carrier you go with, than what you're paying through the job. But you just saved him 7 to 9%. Now, if you just saved him 7 to 9%, now you have negotiation leverage with your wage. So instead of saying, no, I'm not, you pay your employees $14 an hour. I'm a subcontracted worker. My fee is 18. You see how that works? Just because you're your own subcontractor worker, you can negotiate a higher price or a higher wage because you just saved him 7 to 9%. That's the beautiful part, the benefits, one of the many benefits. Now, now again, HR, supervisors, managers, they're not going to understand that. So you have to educate them. But when you tell them, say, hey, listen, just take that back to the owner of the business. Tell him, this is what I'm willing to do. And then here's a copy of my contract. So you got to have all that in place, not just with the resume. You got to have your contract in place. So if they're around the coffee holder, I'm going to tell you, that's going to be a conversation that's going to happen. That conversation is going to happen. Man, this guy Robert came in here talking about he wants subcontract work, and he didn't work for us, and he was just going to contract out his services to us. And then when that boss hears that, what? Huh? Call him back. Tell him to come in for an interview. Because they know. They know. And well as you just saved him a lot of money. Now, you pay your own income tax. You pay your own taxes. But now, here's the other benefit part of that. Your vehicle that you currently drive to your job right now, that money is every time you get into that car going to work is money that is just going out. Your money currently through the job that you have, I don't care how much you get paid, the job that you have, that's money that's just thrown out with no boomerang. You have no boomerang on that money. But when you are a subcontractor LLC, now when you go to work, you get to write off every one of those miles that you travel to and from work. Every day that you go to lunch, ladies and gentlemen, that whole entire meal that you ate throughout the day, snacks, whatever, is tax deductible now. Now, the shoes, the clothes, everything that you buy in order for you to go to work to perform your job is now tax deductible. Now, currently under your job, you don't get any of that money back. None of that, unless you got a good tax preparer that's kind of guiding you through the minefield and say, well, how many pairs of boots did you buy? And now see, that's the difference. How many pairs of, there are certain things that are tax deductible that you can write off as an employee. But when you are an LLC, everything is right, you can write off. Everything. Currently, as an employee, you take a vacation, that money is just thrown out there. Let's just say, and some of y'all take some pretty nice vacations as employees. Some of y'all have gone to the Bahamas, and some of y'all have taken these cruises and then went to Disneyland and Disney World, and y'all just, I'm talking about y'all was making it rain out there, man. And all you brought back was memories. That's it. And trust me, now, if Disneyland is anything as expensive as Six Flags, and I'm talking about Six Flags in Georgia, because it's right next door to Alabama. Now, you're going in paying $6 for a slice of pizza and $3 for a can, a 12-ounce can of $3. But you just broke a whole 10 on a 12-ounce can and a slice of pizza. Come on now. Some of y'all know this. And I've heard stories where people have gone to Disney World and man, they tell you automatically, don't eat at Disney World. Don't eat at Disneyland. Leave out of there and go eat somewhere else. Because if you eat at Disneyland, you're going to break a hundo. But now when you are an LLC and you're in your own business, now instead of going on a vacation, we show you how to get paid from that vacation and write it off. This is the benefits of doing that, ladies and gentlemen. Ow, I forgot to turn my phone off. We're going to let that stay. But, excuse me for a minute. But this is how we're able to do this, ladies and gentlemen. We're able to do this because we have LLC, either our name or we started a business that's LLC. And it puts us in the driver's seat to where now we also the benefits. Let me give you another quick benefit real quick, and then we're going to get ready to wrap this up. The other benefits of doing this, ladies and gentlemen, is my system, my program, we show you how to write off your house, your car. Thanks to George Bush Jr., he has now paved the way. This is why you see a lot of wealthy people driving the big cars, or the big vans, or the G-Wagons, or the Land Rovers. See, all of these vehicles are tax deductible because it's based on the amount of weight that these vehicles weigh. And through George Bush Jr., he allowed that to where now, ladies and gentlemen, you can write that entire vehicle off. You can write that entire vehicle off. Now, you'll hear people using terms like that vehicle is now free, but it's free because it's a tax deduction now. Your cell phones, ladies and gentlemen, currently you spend a lot of money on cell phones, and some of y'all got these iPhone 14 Pro Max 2000 that monitors your sleeping and all that. Some of y'all got that, and you're just spending money out every month on that bill, and that money does not boomerang. It doesn't come back. Now, this is what we teach you here at RDM Online, and it's a whole host of others. But I want you guys to get an understanding of this. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we do this because we have spent a lot of money. I know I spent a lot of money. I have saved you $7,000 on the Grant Cardone on You program. I've saved you $4,000 on the Billie Jean Genius program. I've saved you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on a host of others that are out there that's charging a lot of money. Because over these past 8 years, I have stepped on every bomb that it is to step on. So my program and my system, and I'm not hyping up my program and my system. I'm just telling you how you can, what's the best way for you to choose the right person to go with, and also knowing and understanding the game so you don't waste your time nor ours. But if you're serious about living this life, and if you're serious about getting everything in that you so readily deserve, that comes at a cost. Now, I'm not the most expensive, and I'm not the cheapest either. But again, when you weigh into your mind, is that $67 worth it? Now, a lot of you, and this is what was surprising to a lot of people who are taking my course and who are looking at taking my course. You do not have to LLC in the state that you live in. Let me say that again. You do not have to LLC in the state that you live in. Now, there are a lot of influencers that's out here on the market, on social media, that's telling people to go to Delaware, Wyoming, or Nevada. Yes, those are great states. But when you look at that cost of of LLCing in those states. And I tell people like this: if you're not into anything nefarious, if you're not into trying to pull some slick stuff over on your customers, which you shouldn't even be in business anyway if you're a dishonest person, or if you are so worried about being sued. Yes, Nevada, Delaware, Wyoming, because those states, they send you down such a deep rabbit hole. And the best part about those states is you can file an anonymous LLC in those states. You can file anonymously. So nobody will ever know that you own that business, right? But is it the best? No, because you still have to file a foreign LLC form in the state that you live. So if you put your LLC in Delaware and you live in Alabama, you still have to fill out a foreign LLC form in the state of Alabama, because you're bringing an out-of-state company into here and you're making money there, even if it's a home-based business. So in that regard, you don't want to get caught up in paying two taxes. You don't want to get caught up into doing that. And then here's if you're not if you don't file a separation of entity, you're married to that lawsuit. See, you have to separate, and this is what we teach you guys, that unknown about filing a separation of entity, or not just doing filing a separation of entity form, but filing your foreign LLC paperwork, or how to pay taxes, what tax forms to file, because all of this is a part of the criteria for doing this. But just to get back to my point, you're not a citizen of Gaston, Alabama. You are a resident of Gaston, Alabama. You are a resident, which simply means, ladies and gentlemen, you can LLC in any of the 50 states plus the 12 U.S. territories, or 12 territories. You can put an LLC anywhere. Now, let me also tell you this, and just to give you guys an instruction about LLCing, because LLC Your Name also buys your name back. It also gives you all of your rights back. The average person don't even know that you don't belong to you. Ooh, what you talking about, Muhammad? Man, I do belong to me. Who else owns me? The United States government owns you. You are property of the United States government. How do we know that? Because you have a birth certificate and a social security number. These two companies, or these two entities, were not always in existence. That only happened in the last century and a half, in the past 150 years. These companies only came into existence and I'm talking about in the 1940s. So let's just say, not even 150 years. We're just going to say 100 years. Not too long ago, ladies and gentlemen. So if you go back to, and you can Google search this if you want to, just food for thought. Google search, when did the Social Security Administration come into existence? Google search, when did they start issuing birth certificates? Now, your Social Security number is not just so you can get a check when you get old. This is your government property number. It's 9 digits. 9, ladies and gentlemen, 9. Soon as you're born, guess what happened? You get a birth certificate to show that you are a living soul. 2, you get a Social Security number right behind that from day, you ain't even at the hospital yet. You already have a Social Security number issued, because as soon as they transfer that paperwork that you were born and you're alive and you lived past the 72-hour threshold, that's why they kick you out of the hospital in 3 days. unless there's something wrong with the baby or the mother. But 72 hours, remember back in the day, they used to keep you in there at least a week or two? Now, oh, baby comes out, boop, oh, hey, y'all ready to get discharged. That quick. Then all you have to do at that point is then you go to the Social Security Administration building in your city, in your town, and then they issue your card. Boom, done. But that, ladies and gentlemen, tells you that you are property of the United States. So yes, in the video that you guys saw, your Social Security number, your EIN number, and your passport number all have the same thing in common. They're all 9 digits. So when you're issued that EIN number and that passport, now your passport is for when you travel outside of the country. And not too long, in the very near future, you're going to have a social security, the passport number attached to your driver's license number. I think they've already started that by putting that little star on your driver's license. This is now further identification that you are a U.S. citizen and that you are government property. Passport, because before then, when you traveled outside of the United States, you had to have a passport number. They didn't care nothing about your driver's license number and your Social Security number. They wanted their passport book. That's from when you went outside. Now, in today's time, if you got that little star on your driver's license, because when you think about it, why would they put a barcode on the back of your driver's license? So when he swipes that driver's license in that computer, in that patrol car, boom, everything pops up. So now here we are. When you LLC your name, now you have bought back all of the rights to that name. I did a podcast not too long ago where I was telling you guys about Prince. For 7 years, Prince Rogers, the artist formerly known as Prince, couldn't use his own name. Think about that. Because for years, nobody ever taught us that we can buy our name back. It's not even buying your name. Well, yeah, it is buying, because you got to register and you got to pay those fees and all of that. But for 7 years, we listened to music by the artist formerly known as Prince, and his name at that time through those 7 years was Symbol. He can put out a single album under Prince. That's why we got all of those stupid, crappy musical albums, because he had to fulfill the obligation of the contract that he signed with Warner Brothers. And Warner Brothers owned his name for those 7 years. Not just owned his name, they owned his music. They owned the rights to his music. They could do whatever they wanted to with his image and his name because they owned it. These record companies are the first ones that found this game out. And they first ones, not found it out, but they were the first ones to exploit. And the people didn't even know it. So when you have an artist that has a hit record and then they start asking for more money, and then you don't hear nothing else from them again until they pop up 4-5 years later, that's because the record company owns them. They own their name, they own their image, they own their likeness, they own their music, they own everything about them. That's why you don't hear nothing from them until that contract has ran out. Now, let me tell you even more, game, and then we're going to wrap this up, because I'm going to offer you guys to do this. If you guys want to take this program, take this course where you can get this work and get this information, I'm going to show you, to give you the information that you can get it done. But now look at what's happening with the NIL. Look at what's happening with these new NIL deals. where college athletes and high school athletes, even some high school athletes, if they're good enough, they're starting to get all these contracts and making all of this money. Bronny James, for instance, is the highest paid NIL athlete that it is. And he hasn't even came out of high school yet. This boy is making, he's $7 million already with a Nike contract. But you got to look at the paperwork. Colleges, universities, high schools now are selling your child's name and jersey. They're selling posters with their face and their likeness on it. They selling whatever memorabilia or paraphernalia with your child's face and name on it. And that particular university or school is making millions of dollars off of your child because your child doesn't own his name. And most parents don't even know that. Look, some parents know it, but their child is not the superstar of the team. You can believe that. You can believe that. They children aren't the superstar of the team. And they don't have a Nike deal. They don't have an Adidas deal. They don't have a and one deal, or they don't have no kind of shoe contract or Under Armour deals going on. Now, they can make money off of the stuff that they promote on their social media platforms. Yes. Yeah, y'all make that little money. Yeah, y'all make that little money. But if the private school that Bronny James goes to, if Bronny is making $7 million on his own because he has a billionaire father that probably done laid it out how to market and brand and sell his own stuff, think about how much money that private school is making when they have a basketball game and they have the kiosk out there in the foyer selling the t-shirts and the posters and the socks and all of this kind of stuff. How much money are they making? Because think about that. If somebody can afford to pay you $7 million, how much money are they making to pay you $7 million? The rapper Master P told us that game long time ago. When Jimmy Iovine told him, listen, I'm going to pay you $10 million. And Master P turned it down. And everybody in his family thought he was crazy. And he told him, he said, hey, look, if he could pay me $10 million, how much am I really worth? That I can keep my own. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up. If you guys want to get involved in this game and learn how to protect yourself, how to turn everything that you currently own that's a liability into an asset, how you can turn your car into an asset, how you can turn your house into an asset, or even if you're renting, it don't even matter. How you can write off your utilities as tax deductions, your gas, your clothes, your food, your entertainment, your vacations. If you want to know how to do this game, I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, no fluff. It's $67 for you to take RDM online training. Day one, you will have an LLC. You will be registered. Day one, you will have your own business website, your business email, as well as, ladies and gentlemen, you will have everything that you need to put you in the driver's seat. I even give you the game on the top 5 companies that I use to open up your lines of credit. Yes. Having a line of credit is better. Establishing a line of credit for your business is better than you having a credit limit in your personal. I'm just telling you what God loves. I'm Robert D. Muhammad right here, plugged in, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your favorite plug because I plug you in with the information that you need and to make you successful. I'll see you guys as always, on the other side. Peace.